Please like us tonight. Oh, it says live, so hopefully. I have to say, I'm very proud of the thumbnail for tonight. I love the pink, the coloring in the background going with the book cover. I'm especially proud of this one. I also think it's very funny because we both have the blonde hair.
Yes.
And we're live. Such a way to introduce ourselves, everybody. Little chit chat in the background as we're waiting to see if YouTube connects. Welcome. And we have the little intro that the welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club live stream. And this just so happens to be the last live stream of 2023. And I am so excited because this lovely woman has not been a guest host before, but I adore her so much. We finally met in person this summer, or almost like early summer for Malice Domestic, and she was just as lovely in person as you can imagine. She is also the author of our buddy read. So I'm so happy to introduce y'all to Christina, if I'm showing this correctly. There we go. The lovely Christina Romeril.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Like, seriously, this is my fangirl moment to be on Angela Hart's live stream. So.
Oh. It was so funny when I met this woman for the very first time, right? She sat down next to me in the audience and she did the like full-on double take of like, wait a second, I recognize you. And it was so stinking cute. I'm never going to forget that for as long as I live. So you made me very, very happy because I'm like, I know you too.
I know that was so randomly just accidental. There was a free seat and I was like, I quickly grabbed it because I was late coming in and there you were right next to me, the Angela Hart.
I don't know about the. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever been the Angela of anything. I'm not even the Angela of the night. There's Angie. There's the Angie of the book. She's the Angela.
Yeah, but you are the Angela of Cozy Mystery Book Club. So
thank you. You're so sweet. I think you're the queen of cozy for Christmas cozies. Look at these books. Isn't this perfect for December with the buddy reads? I am so excited that people are going to be reading this for the buddy read. And then we have the second book, which is also just as Christmassy, just as cozy. I'm so excited. And just before we went live, she just made an offer for a giveaway. So would you like to tell them about what is going to be on the table for tonight for one lucky sleuther?
Yes. So if you, and I'll leave it to Angela on how to enter the giveaway, but if you are interested, it is going to be a paperback copy of A Christmas Candy Killing. And I'm going to say right out, if you are the winner, get your information, your address and all that in right away, because I am crossing the border on Friday to take all my giveaway mailings down there. And I'm trying to get them all there on Friday because I want to get these out so you get them before Christmas.
Oh, it's so sweet to me that you really are one of those small town Hallmark moments. I mean, when you were explaining of this is my map and we actually have to do, you said what, you had to drive, 45 minutes into town or something? Like it's a good distance away.
I'm in a village. Yeah.
No wonder I doesn't write about it accurately.
Yes. It's like, so when I write about the village of Harriston in the books, that is really, I mean, you know, a few things have been moved around, but that is my village. I mean, I'm literally thinking, okay, go up the street, turn left. And yeah. And so, though I do have a map of the whole town, and because a few things, like I said, have been adjusted to accommodate the books. But yeah, if you ever came here, you would literally could, you know, drive around from the descriptions in the book and find all the places.
And it's a very well-written book. So please, this is our official. Okay, I might as well just pull it up. Where is it? Okay, we're going into the images. It was so much fun. She saw me struggling with this earlier. I was having the worst time trying to upload stuff, but this one has already been uploaded with the official TBR. So tonight is the last live stream, but right there after tonight, we have one book left and it is yours. So that's very exciting.
That is exciting. I'm just... So you have no idea when I saw that was going to be the buddy read for 2023. My husband saw it. I was like jumping up and down, running around the house. It's going to be the buddy read on Cozy Mystery Book Club. So,
well, I'm pretty sure you won by like a good percentage too.
Yeah, and I don't even remember if I voted or not. But if I did, I probably voted for myself. But I only got one vote. So.
Well, this year it was, so we did the Google form. And so with that, I had the option of if there is a title that you would like to recommend for a future for a future read, for a future TBR, and your book was listed. I'm like, oh, they just haven't checked. It's coming. It's coming. But I think 2 people had your title as a write-in.
All right.
And so I'm going, okay, people really want to read this book with us. This is exciting.
That really just makes my day. That is so wonderful to hear.
People, I'm like, and you're already being added to the TBR, which is so exciting. Oh, see, we all get to fangirl over her together.
Oh, look at that. Somebody bought it for their Kindle yesterday. Awesome. That is awesome.
And I was going to say, the lovely Paula, you guys, how do you refer to it? Is it Publishing House Sisters, or there's some sort of...
We were friends on Instagram, and then she became an agency sister. So our BRLA agency, which I think most of you know, our agent passed away recently. Yeah. But so we were agency sisters, and then we also became publishing sisters in the same Crooked Lane publishing house. So yeah, we've got lots of connections.
Oh, well, a shout out to Paula, and we're actually doing the live stream on the day her book is published for Hammers and Homicide, which I'm very excited about.
Yes, and I have been lucky enough to read some advanced stuff for that and the next one that she's working on, and they are so good. I mean, you just gotta read them. They are so good.
Okay, she hasn't shared the second one with me yet. So now I'm going, oh, Paula, you have something over there.
We are in the same critique group. And so we read the chapters and stuff. That's, so it's exciting. In fact, they are reading, getting to read the first drafts of my 3rd book in my series. So
I'm going to have another one right here. So the spines will be right next to each other on the shelf somewhere in the places of honor.
So
we'll see. You guys are so cute and so sweet. I'm so glad that it's one of those where you love it when nice people find each other. You're like, oh, you guys are meant to connect and meant to be friends. There's something so endearing about that.
It's true. Yeah. And I mean, and we can't forget Annie. But yeah, and I know you guys had like an all-nighter at Malice. So yeah.
They were adorable. They adopted me for the evening. It was because I ran into them in the hallway, and then I had that moment like, oh, they were so sweet. Let me go drop off the swag, because I saw exactly where their room was. And so they're like, no, come on in, chat. So it was a very impromptu, fun Malice moment, which is probably one of the highlights, aside from the lovely Christina. So you guys are part of the highlights for me for the year. So
yeah, that whole Malice. I mean, it was wonderful having the interview with you, and we had so much fun. I mean, I know that there are going to be lots of things that don't make it into that final interview, but we had a blast. I told you so many things.
It's so I am the perfectionist. I think I revealed for the very first time how long some of the editing process takes me. So the Amanda Flower interview that's currently over on YouTube is about 15 to 20 minutes. And it took me 4.5 hours to edit that. And ours was like an hour plus, hour and a half long conversation. So I've been trying to because I always do the inserts too. I will include the stock video image of oh, you can see someone with their Christmas lights or something. And then I also have, Again, I really go for the extras. I'll have the computer and I'll do the screen record so I can showcase her book somehow. This is where it is on Goodreads. This is her website. So all those little things where you stop and record like that, it takes time, but you're worth it.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy. Okay, so this woman already said she loved the book. I'm like, the very first time you're guest hosting, you love the book. And that is always something that concerns me. I'm going, okay, I really hope they like the book of the month. And you're already saying you loved it.
You know what? I read it twice. So I read it in, I think, September, kind of to get that first, would I solve the mystery? I did not. And the other part, is will I enjoy it? And I then knew that I was going to reread it, just the week or so before tonight. And I can honestly say I have actually enjoyed it even more the second time. So I have been going through and I've been like you can see highlighting and making notes in here and everything, because, and it's there's where that is. And just dissecting it. And I mean, the humor, which I thought was funny. the first time. But seriously, going through it a second time and really like focusing on everything on a line level, it's like I'm highlighting it. It's like, this is hysterical. And yeah, so it was actually just a really great and first book in the series too. It's awesome. But that's how I also found another one of my favorite series was through this book club, because you did it on the live stream, and I mean, just fabulous. So this is the place, people. I mean, if you want to find your cozy mystery reads, you've got to be here.
And the thing is, I feel like I'm in the know because it's a certain Poppy McAllister series that's a favorite of yours.
Yes, it is indeed.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing people ask about the buddy reads. So December is the only month of the entire calendar year that we don't have one of these YouTube live stream discussions. The very first, first 2 weeks of the month is 12 Days of Cozies. December 1st through December 12th, I have got you covered with the cozy mysteries. But because of the holiday season and people are traveling, and I believe also when the club first started, I think the final Tuesday of the month is actually going to be on New Year's Eve. So that was one of those, okay, let's kind of figure out how to play this, do this. So this is how the buddy read kind of came into being. So instead of the live stream culmination at the end of the month, for 12 Days of Cozies, there are going to be reading sprint options with Twitter. There are also going to be some posts here on Instagram to foster some conversation. So you can read at your own pace, and I'll give you plenty of opportunities to chat about the book. So there's no rush, but hopefully you can join the fun. Totally optional, but I highly recommend the book.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So what was the book that we're talking about tonight with Sprinkle with Murder, or this lovely woman's book that she has written?
This is the book we're discussing tonight, which was seriously awesome.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is a question. So I had a question when you were describing, but I'm going to ask Mazons first. When you read it the second time, did you pick up on clues you hadn't noticed the first time?
You know, and I've actually gone through and highlighted and written in the margins clue and stuff like that. And when I went through the first time, I mean, once you become a hardcore cozy mystery reader, you see the clues. But even though you know a lot of these are clues, you always wonder, is it a clue or is it a red herring? Yeah. And is it just misdirecting me? And even if it's a clue and you're pretty sure it's a clue, you never always know how it ties together. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing. So, I mean, I saw all these clues, but I didn't recognize them, like how they would tie together, you know, whereas reading through the second time, it's like, oh, of course. Yes. You know, I see now how that's going to tie into it. And I didn't see how the first time I read it, I didn't see how the clue earlier tied into the next one. And, you know, so it was well done, I thought. So.
You're like, I tip my hat to you, and I am using the pun because she has a certain hat shot mystery series. Oh, okay. So many suspects. I like the several O's there. Yes, so I am going to go over and pull it up. So it looks like with the voting, I'm going to hit end poll. So it seems as if y'all really enjoyed the book with the poll results. Everyone's giving it the 4 or 5 stars. So there was only 20% with 3 stars, but nobody said 1 or 2. So right off the bat, very good rating system.
And yeah, I definitely would say it's a 4 or 5 star. Lots of suspects. It made sense at the end, you know, and you can go back like I've done, and literally all the clues are right there. So, and I, you know, now second time around, I'm saying, how did I not see that? But I mean, it was well done. So
I have to ask, who here solved the mystery? Because I think I was very proud of myself. I did solve this one. And so in my own little mind, I narrowed the suspect list down to 2 people because we're going to have to talk about a little bit of spoilers, but we're not going to get into that right this second. But we have our leading lady, Mel, and she has her own Angie. So she has her BFF, and they own their cupcake store. And when the evil fiance sends her assistants to pick them up, there were 2 assistants who had access to the cupcakes. So I immediately knew it was going to be one of these 2 people. So I just stayed with that hunch until the very end. But if you are a goth assistant who kind of gives off the vibes of I'm the murderer, probably not the murderer.
So true. And that's the thing. But, you know, every now and again, somebody does that. Like they try and throw you off with the obvious suspect isn't the murderer. But then once in a blue moon, it is the murderer. And then she did put in a lot of people that even though the assistants picked up the cupcakes, but there were a whole bunch of people at the photo shoot where the cupcakes were taken to. And so, you know, there were a lot of people who could have had access to those cupcakes.
That was when you're going, okay, so I have my suspicion, but is this too obvious? And now I got to pay attention to, oh, wait a second, we have the photographer. Oh, you have your designer who's your rival over here. And then she was just mean to everybody. So literally every other character in the book, even Tate kind of gave off vibes of, wait, I was drugged into engagement? What? So there was a lot going on with this little victim. She had a lot of, potential killers on the loose.
Yeah, in fact, I was reading a part that I'd forgotten about, and that was when the rival baker, Olivia, posted the signs all over town accusing Mel of being a murderess. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And so there were a lot of little things that kept popping up that really helped to distract you too. So,
okay, totally jumping way ahead. Olivia was just so batty. This character, at the very end, you think, okay, they've been through some stuff. They're going to mend some fences. She was worse than before. Yeah. You would think they would have been like, okay, we were in a life or death situation. We came out the other end, you know, head nod. We're moving on with our lives. She was worse. Yeah. That blew my mind. I was not expecting that. To me, that was a bigger aha epiphany moment of like, what's going on with you as the reader than the killer reveal. Because I'm going, she's standing in front of their bakeries giving out free food. What? Yeah. That made me so, I was so upset at that ending instead of being, oh, okay, this book is tying up nicely. She's with her crush. Tate is a little bit more open to Angie. I have all these things that I'm supposed to be feeling, and I'm just mad at Olivia.
You know, but I love Olivia because you love to hate her. Like she's consistent right through to the end. And I always have to remember in a series, you know, this is the first book in the series, and that character has to have a character arc. And she can't go from being horrible to even just okay, because I mean, you know that she's got to be that nemesis in the series. So yeah.
The antagonism between her and Olivia is intense. I've read the second and halfway through the third, and they're still at each other's throat. It sort of stresses me out. Exactly. I had that moment of, oh my goodness, you really are stealing their business. I mean, it's vicious. Yeah. I mean, the icing on the truck was the least of the problems.
Though I thought that was perfect. That was one of my favorite moments when she's out there and literally flinging it onto the truck. I mean, that took some, you know, guts to to do that. So,
okay. So another character that is kind of questionable, the mother, Joyce.
I love her mother. I have it written down. That is like my favorite side character.
So this woman, I felt like she was totally detached from reality, but in the most entertaining of ways. If this was a real person, I would not know what to do with her. When she ever wanted to take her daughter to a tax lawyer instead of a criminal defense lawyer, and she didn't tell the tax lawyer that this is why she was bringing the daughter, I was laughing. And I was listening to this on audio at this point, and I was rewinding because I wanted to listen to it again because I was just like, this is the best thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah. Well, her daughter says, what do you think that I did, Mom? And she says, whacked Christy Stevens, of course. And I'm thinking, I'm just laughing. I'm like, okay, my mom thinks I whacked this person and she wants to take me to the tax lawyer to fix it. So yeah.
And even then, when she finally brings her to the criminal lawyer, it's still a very awkward conversation because she still thinks the daughter did it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really know what to make of that. It's one thing if you want to protect your daughter, but when you really think she killed someone, you don't trust her enough to actually ask. You just assume too. She just assumed, yeah, you killed her. It's fine. I still love you.
And I find it interesting because didn't it seem in the book that Angie was more of the wackadoodle when it came to temper and kind of doing something crazy? Like if somebody was going to go out and whack somebody, it was more likely to be Angie. I always felt like, because when she went and killed her phone, like that seemed, more Angie, that she would have been the one to take out Christy Stevens, especially since she was the secret, crush.
Yep. I honestly had that moment probably around the 70% mark going, Angie would have been a really good potential suspect here if this book was different with a different point of view, or if it was written from like a different lens or something. She would make a really, really good suspect.
She would have been a strong suspect, yes. And I mean, because Mel, I mean, did it seem to you that Mel was a little blind about what was going on between Tate and Angie?
She was definitely ignorance is bliss sort of thing, where this woman did not want her little, it sounds weird when you're like your little threesome of like your friendship of, okay, we watch movies together. She loved the dynamic and she didn't want it to change. So I feel like she had the blinders on of, this is who we are, this is who we are, instead of seeing things are growing and evolving and changing. Yeah. So I was not super surprised by the crush reveal at the end, because kind of like you, I pay attention to the details. So Angie was the one sitting next to him on the couch. She was the one asking about Tate. When the mother was saying, well, you don't date, the clues were there. You could definitely pick up on the...
Yeah. It seemed fairly obvious, I mean, relatively early on. And so I was a little surprised that it took until pretty close to the end of the book before Mel kind of finally like, you're in love with Tate. So yeah, so I thought that was a little bit hard to believe. So even more so than the murder. I mean, I thought that was...
So okay, so I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but this is my point of view. When it comes to something with this book, when it comes to certain books, the way you approach it, I think, makes a lot of difference. So if you come at something with that critical analytical lens of, okay, I'm going to dissect everything versus I'm going to open up this book and enjoy a story. So if if you pay attention to the details, I feel as if they're frayed threads. And if you pull on them, things are going to kind of have problems. But if you just go into this thinking like, I want to enjoy a read, and you just keep going, like, you're going to be totally fine and just enjoy it. But then you have moments of going, okay, the contract, you didn't have to just take it as is. You could have counter offered and said, okay, maybe not 5 cupcakes, but I'll do 2. Or if you need them to be just for yourself, can I sell them in the store under your name or something? Like, there were these moments where I wanted things or like not wanted, but I noticed things could totally have gone differently if you just went down that critical analytical lens. But if you just took it as is and like went on to the next scene, you were totally fine. And that thing with Tate and Angie, like, that's the kind of moment of, okay, if you just sort of look at it and keep going, you're fine. But when you go under the layers, you're like, wait a second, they hooked up before? Full on hooked up, Mile High Club? Wait a second, Jenn McKinlay, what are you doing to me here? Move back a second.
Yeah, that scene was the reveal. That was like when the Mile High Club mentioned, that was like, whoa.
I had a total moment of like, hold up. Now, before when I said like, you just keep reading, that was the moment where you stop and you're like, hold up. Things just changed.
Yes, that was definitely a shock, especially because in Cozies, we hardly ever talk about closed door stuff like that, right? Yeah. And so for them to actually use that Mile High, like, that was just like,
not expecting that.
So but I mean, it made it funny, right? It was,
I was not expecting that, and the fact that it was so casual, and it's one of those, when it comes to cozies, yes, there are things off the page, but it's usually in reference to a meaningful relationship, and obviously it's going to become a meaningful relationship. We can see what's happening in the series, but to have it sort of be, thrown away for the time being, it read differently because of the type of, subgenre that we're in.
Yes. And that's why it was such a shock of a kind of a, reveal about the past. Yeah.
I was not expecting that reveal. I thought, honestly, this is when she was saying, I got a little silly. I legitimately thought she was just going to say she kissed him. And that was period, end of sentence. I did not know there was going to be, and we joined the Mile High Club.
Yeah, it was like, that was full jaw drop. Yeah.
My thought process ended a little while before that began. So she kind of blew my mind with, I was not expecting that one.
Yeah.
And people are talking about Angie in the comments.
So yeah, I mean, and it's funny because if somebody said that in like a thriller, you wouldn't even blink, right? But in the cozy mystery genre, that's a bit of a risque kind of thing to have happen.
I feel as if some of the time the benchmark is, can you say this on Hallmark? If the answer is yes, check mark. If the answer is no, oh, okay. But it's not a bad thing. It's just what our expectations are versus, okay, now we're opening up this erotica and 50 Shades of Grey. We're doing this like totally different. Okay, so other people are having a moment too.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not reading this series with your daughter, but you will read Deputy Donut. I will say Deputy Donut is Colleen's daughter. Like, that's approved.
Yeah. Yeah, and you literally could just kind of, skip that scene and just, don't read that paragraph.
It was cute. I have to say, though, you can see where the romance is going. And someone up above mentioned that Jenn McKinlay is very good at writing romances. So the other main romance is Mel and Joe. So what are your thoughts about our leading lady and, again, our romance trope, best friend's older brother?
I thought she did a great job right from the start. I highlighted all the romance scenes and where she's describing him and everything. And I mean, right away, this guy is going to become the love interest, right? Yeah. You just know. And I mean, there's no question why he wouldn't, because I mean, right away, he's hot, he's successful, he's like that older brother thing. So yeah.
Well, he's also, sometimes when it comes to the lawyers, you're going, okay, what type of lawyer are you? And so he's the the assistant district attorney. So he's one of the good guys. He's fighting for justice. Although that did throw a little bit of a wrench in their relationship for this book, putting the little pause button there. But I love the fact that he's on, again, I'm not saying defense lawyers are bad people, but I'm just saying when it comes to cozy mysteries, they can definitely have the vibe of, with his lawyer rival friend there of, okay, I'm going to give you a little sketchy vibe, but that's not where we're going with Joe. So I appreciate the fact he's smart. He's on the side of justice. And he also apparently is very attractive.
And it also is nice because it gives them that even though he was very above board and follow the rules, but that little bit of a, where he could, little bit of a help in things.
Oh, this is okay. So going back a second. Okay. As romance readers, yes, I do think this is where Jenn McKinlay's background in writing romance shines through a little bit. You can see some of that, boil over, spill over, because she writes romance novels and they are very good. Seal of approval. I read romance too. It's just a matter of, I think, again, like when you're reading this subgenre versus like when you pick up a different book. I mean, if you pick up a Sylvia Day, you know what you're expecting.
Yes, true. And I thought she does it well, though. I mean, even though she's a romance author, so she obviously does do it very well, but she doesn't go overboard either. I still feel like, I know for some mystery readers, it might be just a smidge too much, but it is just a smidge for some. Like, I think it's still, okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you just keep reading, it was that one sort of reference versus, oh, we're going to have a reference every single chapter or every other page now. And that has been done. But, oh my gosh, Mel and Joe are goals. Aw.
That's true.
He was very sweet with her too. The only part where you kind of go, okay, what's going on with you? I know you're the love interest, was when he had the dinner with an quote unquote associate.
Yes. Yeah. Because that, and the associate came very much across as wanting Mel to know she was more than just an associate. Mm-hmm. So that really did kind of put in the question of, okay, so is Joe, is there something going on, or is this just a woman wanting there to be something going on?
And then you find out it's the woman wanting something, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, that was the only moment where I'm going, okay, Joe, other than this one scene, I am totally 100% on your side, but I just have that one little question, little hair, little thing I got to follow up on. But he was so sweet with her because even at the end, as soon as she was cleared, spoiler alert, he kisses her and then he asks her out on a date. And my little romance reader heart was just bursting.
Very much so. Yeah. You just knew they had to, get together. That was just a must do. Especially, and he is, like somebody said, like he's such a good contrast to to Angie's other brothers.
Yes.
So I think that makes him work so much better, even because he's that strong contrast. So
you could kind of see I almost feel as if Jenn McKinlay broke out one of the psychology books because she mentioned he's the middle brother. So that explains why his disposition is a little different than the brothers were tracking Angie's cell phone, literally following her, knocking on the car door, and being a little bit more aggressive, outgoing. Like, you can kind of see, the older, oldest brother syndrome kind of kicking in with a couple of them. So again, I think he was a nice foil to them, but her brothers were interesting, and there are 7 of them.
Yes.
This is one of 8 children.
Yes. Yes. And I have read Pumpkin Spice Peril, which is a little further into the series. And so it's interesting to see where it ends up going too with these brothers, where they really are part of the series, and you get to learn a little bit more about them as it goes on. So yeah, they do provide a fair bit of humor, I think, and levity, like throughout the series. Like whenever the brothers are in there, that there's going to be some fun and shenanigans, and yeah.
Well, I had that moment of, this is where I think she was very, very clever, because like you were saying before, this is the first book in the series, and she's 16 books later. You need to have enough content if you're going to be planning a series. And I'm pretty sure at one point she mentioned that she didn't know how many books were going to be in the series, but she was still really smart, giving herself that wiggle room of, okay, even if I'm only signed up for 3 or I'm only signed up for 6, I can still have all of this down the line. So even if it ended, she could have picked it right back up with another publisher or kind of revisited it later on. So I kind of got to give her credit for having something like 7 brothers to choose from. And we have Charlie, her Mel's brother, who's also referenced, but not in the book, within the text. So she definitely was setting herself up. So I'm kind of giving little writer applause to you, Jenn McKinlay.
And that is why starting with the first book in the series makes it so much easier, because if you try and go into, like, I think I had Pumpkin Spice Peril before I had this one. And so I started to read it, and it was just like, I got lost. I mean, in the first few pages, it was like, okay, there are so many, and she was just talking about her family. There are so many brothers in there. It was overwhelming. But then when you go back to the first one, where she's kind of slowly introducing them, you're able to get to know them. So then as they're added, it's not as overwhelming, because they're just adding, one more. And I know that's a big thing with a lot of readers, is too many characters. And yeah, so.
Well, I think she was clever to only have the 2 brothers knocking on the window. So you only really met those 2 plus Joe. So she's easing you into it, because whenever they do those scenes of, here's the dinner party, here are my 7 other guests, and 3 pages later, they're all the same person to me. They literally, like, I just write them up. I'm like, you're an amalgam of one.
Yeah, it's so true. So, and and even now, Uncle Stan, I am still trying to figure out Uncle Stan's relationship. So Uncle Stan is Mel's uncle.
Yes.
But is he her mother's brother or her father's brother?
The father's brother, I'm pretty sure, because he has the same eyes, and the father died. So she gives him the moment of, gives her that reminiscing of happier times. So in a weird way, it seemed bittersweet when he was around, because she would look at him and be reminded of the dad, and kind of have that, it bring her down. But at the same time, she loves him.
I wanted to confirm that, just because of, some other questions I had. So yes, that everything makes sense, because there were a couple things that in the book, I even kind of highlighted them, that were a bit confusing, where just the way it was written, because she referred to being a bit of a chunkier girl when she was, young, but then being slim. And then it was kind of like, well, then she referred to something again and it was like, okay, what was the order? So, but yeah.
So I have to say, this is where Joe being involved too, because Uncle Stan is supposed to be investigating this murder, and his niece is a prime suspect. So Joe intervening to take Stan off the case, I totally understand that. Again, I'm a very logical, like, okay, we're going from point A to point B. Like, I'm very much grounded in details, which is why when they were talking about the contract before, I'm going, okay, well, finagle, counter offer. So I'm thinking, like, yes, this is a very intelligent thing to do. Meanwhile, she's thinking, I lost my inside source. I lost my comfort, because she felt better when she saw him there to have her back. So did you like Joe taking him off the case? Did you understand that? Or were you like, no, don't interfere. Leave Stan, leave him be?
No, I mean, of course you always want, all the inside scoops, but no, it totally made sense. And I mean, for Joe not to have taken Stan off the case would have made less sense, because of exactly why he says in the book that he has to take Uncle Stan off. They're related, right? You can't investigate someone you're related to for obvious reasons. So, I mean, it was a very real world, made sense kind of move, I thought.
So that was my take on it. I kind of gave him a pass, thinking, especially because our victims' parents are in the scene and these people are very questionable. So when he ever said in his dialogue that he didn't want them to sue later on in civil court, I'm going, fact, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, this is the United States. I mean, here in Canada, there's no point in suing anybody because you get nothing. It's just pointless. But in the United States, it's a big thing, right? People sue each other all the time. And so and I would imagine you, as in the police departments and stuff, you've got to be careful and follow the rules. And I mean, you know, as much as, you know, they do, but yeah. And so I thought that was very sensible that she had Uncle Stan taken off the case. I thought it made total sense to the story.
Seems like everybody's like nodding along. Everyone seems to be on Team Joe. Everybody seems to really like him. So that also makes me feel as if, okay, she has a good guy on her side.
Yeah.
Future books. I will say I did post one of the questions. It was, which couple did you, or which potential couple, because I actually put in parentheses, potential couple did you like the most? Whether it was Tate and Angie or Mel and Joe. And Mel and Joe, I'm pretty sure, won at 85%.
I was going to say, I thought it was a landslide the last time I looked. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a full-on landslide. I think Joe has won over the reader hearts over here.
Yeah. And I think it's partly because we didn't see Tate, a lot of him, other than as like the confused, somewhat bereaved, ex-fiance, well, not ex-fiance, but fiance of deceased individual. And so, yeah, there was a lot, we just didn't get to know Tate as well, I don't think. So, and we didn't see Tate and Angie together the way we did Joe. And so, yeah, I mean, hands down. And I haven't read all the series, so I don't know how that develops. But yeah, I'm thinking this one definitely, Joe was clearly the winner for sure.
So what did you think of Tate? Because I had several questions about him. I enjoyed him as a character. I love that they had their old movie quotes that they threw at each other, even in very dramatic moments. All of a sudden they're quoting the Turner Classics and you're going, oh, you should not have just mentioned the killer ones over there because now you're over the bit of dub buddy. That's a definitely different vibe. But he definitely kind of threw me for a loop-de-loop when he said he didn't remember proposing. And he doesn't mention this to his two best friends until the fiance has already been murdered. I would have had so many questions so much earlier in that relationship story. Yes. I'm sorry, what?
Yes. I mean, if I woke up and my new fiance is telling me that I've proposed and I have no recollection of it, yeah, I'm going to be questioning that really quickly. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is going to my BFFs and we are going to be talking about that, right? Like, what do I do? So, I mean, okay, it's because he's a stand-up guy. And so he figures, well, I must have done it. But like, seriously, this is marriage. This is not like, buying a secondhand car. Like, this is serious. So
yeah, I had serious questions about this because when it comes to marriage, you're like, this is the woman who's going to be the mother of your children. She's going to be in your life forever. I think you would want to follow up on that.
Yeah. I mean, that was such a shocker, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't understand if how he could not have spoken to his two best friends. Yeah. How did he not stand up for himself? I mean, even trying to be the honorable guy, like, right? Like, wouldn't you kind of say something?
So again, me being the analytical person, the way that I think that could have played was if she thought she was pregnant or said she was pregnant or something, then him being the stand-up guy would have made more sense. But holding on, going through with an engagement because she says you're engaged versus actually proposing, that seemed very odd to me. I kind of wanted more information about, wait a second. And they don't even know fully. We're assuming he was drugged, but
Right.
they only are assuming. I would have had that blood test. I would have been in the ER, urgent care. I was like, take all the pints you need, solve this mystery.
Right. I mean, if somebody flashed a big rock on their finger and said that I gave it to him and I have no memory of doing it, yeah, I'm going to want to know more. Show me some video. Get the blood test for sure.
Like, your phone. Did somebody take a video? I mean, if you proposed at a restaurant, that's going to end up on so many Instagram stories. Have them tag you.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, like that reader said, like maybe he was embarrassed. I mean, totally, I would be embarrassed. And so, I mean, it's not something I maybe would go talk to like my mother about, but I would totally tell my best friend and say like, what do I do? I don't even remember proposing, right? Like, and especially if he wasn't actually about, like, it would be different if this was what he was intending to do at some point anyway, but it didn't sound like their relationship was at the point where that was coming up, right? So like, no.
See, if he had the ring in his pocket and had been debating, and then he woke up and it was and they were engaged already, okay, that plays differently. But he has kind of visions or recollections of being in a jewelry store. I also want to know, did you at least look up the credit card number? Like, did you actually pay for it? Or did she pay for it herself and say, look here?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like, seriously. And yeah, I would want to know what went on, because if my, memory is that far gone, like what happened, right? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I wouldn't have just accepted somebody coming along and telling me that I did all this while I was in a virtually comatose state.
This one, he acted as if he was drugged the whole engagement. That's a very good point, because that's the other thing I have questions about. Again, I'm a little too analytical sometimes, but they are your best friends. At no point during their relationship of, oh, here's the woman I'm dating, you're going to throw down a red flag of, oh, she said a couple things that were questionable, or, oh, she seemed nice, but ... There was never any mention of the before. They only talked about how they were engaged, but they've been friends forever. So didn't they meet her before it became serious? I mean, he was drugged into the serious, so we're going to throw that aside for a second. But nobody ever kind of said, oh, you might want to keep dating.
Well, and I mean, did she not let him see any of the stuff that she did, like with everyone else, literally everyone else? Like, how did he not see that side or some of that side of her personality, right? Like she was not a nice person.
No, that's the thing too. He couldn't even have that moment of, okay, so you might be acting one way with them, but I see the real you, the sensitive you. That's just a front because you're traumatized from X, Y, and Z, and you actually have a good heart. We just need the world to see it. No, she was terrible to every single person. She was taking advantage of people, and then she was just flat out rude and disrespectful. I mean, I also say... I had this moment of, okay, we know that this woman beforehand, based on the book blurb, she's the victim. But when her dog ever relieved herself in the middle of the store, and she didn't even apologize, she just walked out. You're going, okay, really? I mean, he didn't notice her acting that way with any other situation or person, because you don't just act like that once. That is you as a person.
Yeah, because I mean, you just need to get to know her. I think you need to just get to know her, because yeah, like that was a little bit hard to believe that he didn't see just how nasty she could be. I mean, I'm not saying she probably faked it, with him as much as she could, but I wondered if Tate signed a contract. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you sign a contract while you've been drugged by that person, it's not binding.
Yeah, that's one of those mitigating circumstances. But as a dog owner, I would be so apologetic. Although I do have questions. I am very concerned about Puddles. We only see this dog in one scene, and I kept waiting for Tate to walk in the door with this dog under his arm, or saying, oh, I still have a piece of Chrissy or something. But I'm just going to assume the dog went to her parents, because this dog is referenced again in this book. And
I assumed the same. Yeah, that's what I assumed. I totally assumed parents happen. So
I was worried about this dog. I would have loved to have at least one sentence of, and we saw him walking puddles, or we saw her mother holding puddles, like one little sentence, and I would have been much happier. But I'm still worried about puddles. So keep an eye out for other literary references to this dog with those Easter eggs there, because I'm worried about him. It was a cute name, though. It was weird, but it was different.
It fit.
Yes, her parents were horrible. Her father was very questionable.
Yeah, the apple didn't fall far from the tree in that case.
No. Well, so when it comes to her entire family dynamic, her personality, at first I thought she was trying to get Tate for the money because he's very well off. But then we find out she's also very rich. So what was her fascination with Tate?
I'm guessing she wasn't rich enough, because we learned through the book that she's actually not the super talented one. It was, in the end, it was Phoebe that was the really talented one. So she had to know that at some point, if Phoebe left her, then she would be on her own and not maybe make it as a designer on her own. So
that was okay. So this woman, this victim of ours here, she drugged the fiance. She's stealing designs from her apprentices. And so she's stealing their designs, their entire work history, actually, taking the credit as her own. And then you have her wanting her photographers to sign exclusivity contracts and that she owns the right to all the photos. They can't publish anything else on their own. And then even the wedding venue, the florist, this is the one that caught me off guard. The florist had to do special displays for her. The florist, it was every single person in her entire life. Everybody would have wanted to kill this woman.
Yeah, she had control issues.
That's putting it very mildly. The florist is supposed to sign an exclusivity contract for the design, for the centerpieces, for the tables. What?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I keep saying, like, how did Tate not see this person really clearly? So,
but I was blown away by that because I don't think I've actually seen a character or come across anyone like that. I mean, there's an episode of Psych, because you guys know I love Psych. There's an episode where Sean and Gus are pretending to be models, and the designer, she's the up and comer. She's the third person in the Ciao Bella line. You gotta love that I know that off the top of my head, the fashion company name. So Ciao Bella, they're taking credit for the designs that she's doing. So I've seen the episode and other things where, okay, we're taking credit for someone else's ideas. That's been done. But the whole idea of contracts for everything, that was new to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of like a contract like that for cupcakes. I mean, I remember signing like something that I was going to pay my person making cupcakes for X number of cupcakes or whatever. Like, but I mean, yeah, but I mean, I guess you could. I mean, you could write it in as a contract if you could get somebody to sign it.
I just saw this. She probably kept drugged up regularly. Yeah, he'll just agree to anything because, well, I mean, the fentanyl was involved. So maybe she's slipping things or putting patches on him, keeping him calm. We don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, he's supposed to be like a very savvy businessman, right? I mean, like in his business, like he's so how did she
went to Princeton? He's supposed to be an Ivy League graduate. More examples of that not always being, resulting in the best case, I guess. I don't know. But he's supposed to be this very intelligent man, but that was not the impression that was always coming across off the page. Yeah. And I love all the pineapples popping up, by the way. I'm seeing the pineapples. I'm like, the psychos are here. I love that we're called psychos, by the way. I'm like, okay, my psych I'm going, oh, my psych friends. Welcome to the club. I definitely was thinking of the Psych episode when I listened to this on audio. When they got to that part, I was picturing the girl in the scene. She was the stepsister in Ever After. So she's actually talking with her New Zealand accent in the scene. And I love it. So it gave me some Psych vibes, which is always a good thing. More Psych vibes, the better. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So maybe book smart, but not street smart. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I will give you that. Yep.
But so we haven't really talked about Alma, the goth assistant.
She was, I mean, she came off pretty harsh, but I mean, she, you know, but I mean, she was very much true to herself, right? I mean, trying to sell the wedding dress, you know, secretly and stuff. So, I mean, you know, she kind of showed her true colors and stayed consistent throughout.
I was kind of on her side until she stole Phoebe's wedding dress. I was kind of rooting for Alma up until that point. So Alma very much was going, yeah, she was going to get killed eventually. This is fine, whatever. It's you know, life goes on. She very much sort of blew past the murder aspect, which I thought was hysterical. She was owning her goth vibes. She wanted out of the contract. She was very open about things. So I was on her side until she stole the wedding dress to get a job. So I'm kind of a little bit on the Alma fence. I'm going, I really liked her up until that point. But then she was almost murdered for stealing the wedding dress. So that kind of makes it.
Well, and was she murdered totally for stealing the wedding dress, or because Mel was going to find out about certain things that Phoebe had said that she could double check with Alma? Like I kind of thought there were like multiple reasons for Alma to, you know, try and be murdered. So and the wedding dress, not the least among them. So.
Yep. I mean, so she definitely was the obvious red herring, but I think it was when she stole the wedding dress where I'm going, okay, now you're questionable. That was when I was kind of having a moment of, okay, Alma, you're not totally on the up and up, are you? But maybe she was working with the bad girl too long.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, those other, like the Terry Longmire, the other designer and stuff, I didn't get like a strong vibe that was a viable suspect. Like he didn't come across like he did it. I mean, yeah. So
I mean, the photographer, he was a little sketchy, especially when you're an older gentleman hugging a 20-year-old. That definitely comes off a certain way. And then we have the designer, and I wasn't entirely sure what to do with his backstory or the characterization about the cross-dressing, because if he wants to wear a dress, let him wear a dress. I didn't really understand why that was a topic of conversation.
Well, and I think that was more because of the timing, like just because it's so long ago, right? Yeah. So, I mean, this book was written in,
I think it was 2010. 2010, was it 2020?
2010, which means it was probably written even a year before that, right? Yeah. So 2009. And so, I mean, I think that's just, I mean, they talk about phone books in there and various things. So, I mean, yeah. So you have to remember when these books are a bit older, you know, and even I saw somebody mentioned about it being an older book. I think readers have become more savvy in the genre. And so writers are becoming, you know, are being a little bit more tricky about how they write suspects in and stuff. Yep. So yeah, the genre has evolved.
Oh no, because I think I noticed it, or it jumped out at me because I'm just going to say, so his name is Coy. I got my nails done. He did a wonderful job. And I was like, I'll just show you the hands. I got the Gel X done. When I walked in to get the nails done, he's walking around in his stilettos and he looked fabulous. I saw those shoes and I'm like, I want a pair, but if I was trying to walk around in them, I would break my neck. He was owning it and he looked so good. And then the day later, when I was listening to the audio, it jumped out at me because I'm going, he was wearing those shoes and he was rocking them. Leave him be. I was on Coy's defense. I'm going, he doesn't even know about this book. I mean, I told him about it because, again, Gel X nails take a long time, but still. Okay, yeah. Because, I mean, also, I have to say, okay, Michael Kors, I own several of the shirts, but I have these moments every so often where I'm thinking, yeah, you didn't really understand a woman's body here. Okay, yes, that's going to go up. So now instead of it's not meant to be a crop top, but now it is because you didn't design it with enough fabric. Yeah. So I have moments of some male designers should wear their own designs to see what's going on in reality.
Yes, so please. Yes, please. And I want every one of those male shoe designers wearing a pair of stilettos to understand the requirements that a woman needs to be able to wear those all day.
Again, when I saw him rocking the stilettos, I was blown away because I'm going, oh my goodness, because I have lower back problems. I would just want to wear my Ugg boots and sneakers and I'm done. That's it. That's all I want in my life.
I used to be able to wear, like, literally, I remember in high school, I mean, later high school, wearing a pair of 4-inch heels, walking to school, walking around school all day, walking home, and then at work all night, and then going out and going to a club afterwards in my 4-inch heels. Like,
that is amazing.
Today, I mean, like, can I get through the house into the car, and then can I get from the car into the restaurant? And I mean, it's like I'm evaluating how much walking do I have to do. But yeah, back in the day.
I remember I used to like practice if I had high heels. I used to wear them and be like, okay, how long can I wear you? Yeah. I'm seeing the comments popping up because I did make note of this too. So our leading lady, Mel, she's not the most confident, and she has a history of being overweight, or she called herself chubby multiple times. But it really caught me off guard the very first time she sees Joe, and he says, "You look different." And her first response was, "Well, I'm not fat anymore." I had that moment of, did I mishear her? What? So I was very caught off guard, and that happened very early on in the book. So I knew going in that there were going to be some references, but yeah, there was some, I saw some people say like fat shaming or fat phobic on Goodreads, because there was a reference to when she was an undergraduate, she starved herself to help get her body to where it wanted to be. But I appreciated the fact that we had almost the self-healing, self-love journey as well, because when she's in Paris, she said she fell in love with food again, and she was able to eat for pleasure and not just for the health and wellness part of it. So she was trying to be redeeming with it, but it was hard to read sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. And I think towards the end, there's something about being like a size 8 or something. Mm-hmm. Somebody kind of references that. And I thought, like, a healthy size, right? Not the Christy, Steven, the super thin, killing yourself with diet patches and everything. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, so also, I was thinking the Meg Cabot has the book, size 12 is not fat. If you're calling her fat at a size 8, I'm sorry, little photographer guy, but no.
Well, that just goes to show how that industry, right? That's, what they think. And so, yeah. Have you noticed in Hallmark movies, they're showing more realistic women in some of their shows now, which I'm really liking.
Oh my gosh. There's one girl I really, really like, and I had to go look her up, her IMDb page. She was on Grey's Anatomy. She was trying to be more representative of like the full figure, and she's so cute and she's so eloquent. I'm going, oh, I like you. They need you in all the Hallmark movies now.
Yeah. Yes, please.
I mean, Hallmark has come a long way. I appreciate them trying to include more diversity, from the LGBTQ plus to their casting. I'm like, Hallmark's working on it. I'm sticking with Hallmark. I know the Great American Family is a thing now, but I've been watching my Hallmark Christmas movies.
I don't think I can even get Great American Family here. So I haven't even had the opportunity to see what it's all about. But I love my Hallmark movies.
I tried to put up my Merry Grinchmas sign, but they kept falling down from the bookcases. So I was trying to show you all I was ready for Christmas. So we have Merry, and we got the little Grinch.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, bring on the countdown to Christmas. I'm there for it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I mean, again, when it comes to, yeah, I'm like, the timing of it is different. Like, things read differently now. Ryan Pavey. Ryan Pavey is one of my mom's favorites. Shout out to Mama Hart. She loves Ryan Pavey. Okay. So Mama Hart showed me something, and it blew my mind because I don't read magazines. I just don't. But the Sexiest Man Alive edition was published with lovely Patrick Dempsey on the cover. And if you pick up the magazine, right in the center is the hunks of Hallmark. Right there, 2-page spread of them posing, and they're all their little ways. Get Andrew Walker, Ryan Pavey, they're all there. And it was hysterical because I was not expecting to see that at all. This is totally off topic, but I'm just throwing that out there.
I saw that. I'm going to have to, the next time I'm in the grocery store, open it up and look at the inside of the, yeah. Now I'm going to have to do that.
Hunks of Hallmark, and they've got their little Christmas displays, and you can see all the guys are edited in, like they're not actually standing next to one another, but it's hysterical, and I loved it because again, it totally took me off guard, not expecting that.
No.
But bring on again, like I've got my little cupcake. I'm like, okay, fine, this is what life is now. Christmas started November 1st. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. November 1st. Yes. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was decorating October 25th, but you know.
And I love that people are now saying, you're like, I need that magazine now.
Yes.
I could probably take a photo and share it on the Instagram story so you all know what I'm talking about. But it caught me so off guard. Because again, I don't read magazines. And the one time I do, it's like the hunks of Hallmark. There's even a Twitter handle or an Instagram that's literally just hunks of Hallmark. The things I
know. Well, I mean, you know, I love that Hallmark has someone for everyone, right? I mean, female and male, there is someone that appeals to everyone in those movies. And so if you're, you know, if your type is not whoever, then they've got everything under the sun now. Like it's wonderful. I love it because I mean, I don't, you know, some guys are more attractive to me than others. And so there's always somebody there for someone else. So it's awesome.
I just saw, yes. So it said Merry Grinchmas. I was so proud of myself too, because I special ordered this because it goes down when all the other signs went across. I was so proud of this too. And then it kept falling and you couldn't see it entirely. So yeah, I'm just gonna be like, and it's Grinchmas. I was so proud of my son and everything. And then because of the flower situation, I have my gold poinsettia at like the fake flowers.
Oh, you should have worn that.
But like they wouldn't stay with the ones there. So I'm like, I came ready for the holidays, but I didn't know how to decorate the bookcases entirely. So I'm like, I literally have all of these fake poinsettias. Like I wanted to decorate it for the holidays, but I guess the fall aesthetic is like, this is what we are. My bookcase knows it's a fall aesthetic and they want the orange and reds. When it comes to Christmas, they're like, no, go to the other bookcase. But yes, I was trying. And then we got like the onesie. It is actually a onesie because again, I knew we were celebrating Christmas. She's my cozy queen of Christmas over there. I was like, we got to be ready for the Christmas.
It's my lower half that looks more Christmassy today. I've got on some tights that are all like Christmas pattern. Like, so anyway.
Well, I love your background though. I love that you have the Christmas vibes. I love that we're embracing it. Like
everybody.
Technically speaking, so the thought process for November is, okay, November, Thanksgiving, food, hence the cupcakes. Yes. But when it comes to like, okay, Thanksgiving has happened. Where's my Christmas tree? Like, I understand. It's one of those, the cupcake theme. Yeah, now we just need to decorate the cupcakes for Christmas.
Yeah, 100%. But I have to say, this was an awesome read. I mean, for November. I like, seriously, so funny. Like, I mean, really, it took the second read to fully appreciate the humor in this. And if you know, like I'm always recommending the funny series and cozy mysteries. And this is now one of my go-to series for humor. So.
Oh, that's so great. That makes me so happy.
So.
I'm trying to see. I'm like, if there was something else anybody else wanted to mention, because I posted the question on Instagram. But if there's something y'all want us to talk about, please type it in the comments now. I just wanted to double check because I'm pretty sure we already covered most of the things y'all flagged. Because I know we talked about the relationship, we talked about Olivia. But if there's something else, now is the time to comment. And I was very proud of myself with the graphics for this, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. I love how they came out because also the cupcake book covers go very well with everything.
They do.
Easy to work with.
Yeah. 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 And everything I made notes, and everything that you covered is what I had on my notes too.
Oh, okay. So we have one question over here for you.
Oh.
How do you pronounce your last name?
I mean, I am a Mary-in, so right, it's my husband's last name. So they pronounce it Romeril. So they kind of just the is kind of blended together, Romeril. So, but a lot of people when we go travel and stuff, they call us Romeril. Mm-hmm. Which if you ever watched Psycho, the one with Freddie Highmore, that was on a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, the sheriff on that was Romeril, spelled the same way. So Romeril is another pronunciation, but my husband's family pronounces it Romeril.
Yeah, I was saying it wrong then. I feel so badly. I said it incorrectly. You should have corrected me.
Well, and even I don't think I always say it right. Sometimes they kind of just say Romeril, but I often even will say Romeril, right? And put more of an ill, like, pronounce all the syllables. So yeah, I don't care. Call it, say it any way you want.
You're like, I just appreciate you wanting to know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to make sure that Romeril.
See, it's hard to say it the way they say it. Like Romeril, it sounds more natural to me, but they almost just say Romeril.
Romeril. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to practice that now. And then Daisy, the little puppy, is going to be looking up at me like, what are you doing, woman? Is this my new nickname? Because she has all the nicknames.
Yeah. So I don't know. And maybe it's like a Western thing because I'm from Ontario originally, out east, and they're more, rednecks out here. So I don't know.
This is where, okay, so no matter what your name is, last name, people will find a way to either misspell it or mispronounce it.
Yes.
My last name is 4 letters. Do you know the amount of times I get the H-E-A-R-T? I get H-A-R-T-T. Yeah. I mean, no matter what, something always goes wrong. Yeah. And fun fact, I was so startled because I felt like, okay, was I inspiration for this? I know I wasn't. But the main character's sidekick, Angie, her name is Angela Marie. My name's Angela Maria. Do you know the amount of times I get called Angela Marie? So it was like, in a way, I had that moment with the character where I'm like, okay, I was almost you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what your name is or how simple you think it is. There are people out there who will find a way to mispronounce it. It's just the way it is.
I'm like, and you have a very nice way of being like, it's okay, it's fine. Like, I just appreciate you trying. Like, at this point, you're like, just go with it.
I worked with a guy who called me Kim all the time. And I used to correct him and say, Chris. Oh, yeah, right, Chris. And then the next time he'd see me, he'd call me Kim again. And eventually I just stopped telling him. And then he'd call me Kim and I'd say, okay, yeah, okay. And I just pretended to be Kim. So.
I mean, I just sort of go with things where I'm like, okay, I don't, whatever, it's fine. I'm like, I've reached that point in my life. I'm like, I just want a cupcake.
Give me
these
all the
are little baby ones. So these are called the Barbie cupcakes from Shaw's, and they're so stinking cute. I'm seeing the comments. I'm like, yes, I wanted a cupcake too. I'm like, you can pronounce my name wrong, but I've got a cupcake, so all's right.
We have a store here in Lethbridge, which is about, half an hour drive into town. And they have a cupcake store. I mean, they bake other things too, but cupcakes is one of their main things. And we've gone in twice now, just in the mornings, and they had their leftover cupcakes from the day before, and they marked them down to half price. And we have brought them home and eaten the entire box. And that was twice in the last week. So
one of my favorite shows from years back, before the Great British Baking Show was a thing, was Cupcake Wars. I was such a fan of Cupcake Wars. Now they have Cake Wars and the holiday competitions, but Cupcake Wars was the original. Wow. So when it comes to cupcakes, and then again, I lived in DC for 8 or 9 years, and we had Georgetown cupcakes. So I'm like, I was in little cupcake heaven for a very long time. So I was very happy with that.
Well, I sent out my newsletter this morning, and the recipe for this month was the red velvet cupcakes that are mentioned in A Nutcracker Nightmare. So, yeah.
I haven't checked my email. Well, I have multiple email accounts. I'm like, I haven't checked I have an AOL one where I send newsletter stuff. I'm like, I have to go check AOL now. Yes, I did just say AOL.
I have a surprising number of people with AOL accounts on my newsletter list. So
I'm gonna have to check my email and go see what it looks like. So, because I also have to double check sometimes, because when it comes to newsletters, I will randomly get purged from people's things. Or like Instagram, I swear it will unfollow accounts. I'm going, I did not unfollow. So I need to make sure that I'm still on your newsletter list. If not, I'm going to remedy that effect. But yes, but people go sign up for her email newsletter because she's amazing. Oh, Baked and Wired, another cupcake store shout out. Where'd you go? Baked and Wired, it was amazing. They also had another store. It was from the same company. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was also fabulous. It was like 15, 20 minutes away in the city. It was right near a Busboys and Poets. It was perfect.
Oh.
Yes, there are recipes. Would you like to? So, are there recipes in Sprinkle with Murder? There aren't any in the audiobook.
Let's take a look. Yes, there are. In fact, there's Blonde Bombshell, Tinkerbell's, Mojito, Death by Chocolate, and that's it. Those are the ones in the paperback copy.
I was going to say, because I have the paperback is here somewhere. I was trying to find it, and then I went, okay, I just want to make sure I have my cupcake. I had Christina's book, so I was like, we're covered. So my paperback is here somewhere, but with the ebook, they were right there at the back. So I did notice that too, because again, I originally listened to it on audio. So I'm right there with you. Something is a little off where most of the time, if they have the audiobook, they'll have the section at the end, like, okay, we're done now. And here's recipes, but they didn't do that this time. So I was a little caught off guard too.
Yeah. So I wonder then, I'm guessing the recipes are not in the audiobook of my books either. So
I don't know. I've read your book. Oh, so we have a question. What fun facts can you tell us about A Christmas Candy Killing? What made you write it?
Well, my husband is a true crime fan, and that is kind of the basis of the murder in A Christmas Candy Killing. And I'm not giving anything away because it's on the back jacket copy. And so that was what inspired, I think, that kind of idea. Yeah. And there are recipes, and I did have to learn how to make chocolates and create those recipes. So, but yeah, that was what inspired that book. So
I did notice. So I am a huge fan of The Office. So when I see this question pop up saying, you live on the East Coast now, but grew up in Arizona, we call Scottsdale Snobsdale. Am I saying that correctly?
Snobsdale.
It's a
As
very
in a bunch of snobs, right? I'm assuming I'm assuming that's what it is there.
So I originally, as soon as they said Scottsdale, I was thinking of The Office, thinking, okay, we're on a different coast here. And then they said Arizona, and I had to be brought back. So I don't know if you guys know The Office, but I always think of Jan driving to go see her sister in Scarsdale. Or it's Scarsdale, not Scottsdale, Scarsdale. But that's what it gives me the vibes of. I was thinking of that. I was like, okay, wait a second. I'm living in Massachusetts. I don't instinctively know what's going on over there.
And I'm going to be honest, my least favorite part of the book was the setting. I was not as much of a fan of the setting, and maybe it's because I am a small town snob, but that's not even true, because Emmeline Duncan and some other books that I have read are set in bigger cities, but they do a good job of doing that little community within. And so I didn't enjoy that Arizona Scottsdale setting as much. So
I'm trying to it was the Coffee House Mystery Series, where it's kind of, you got the city vibe, but then you have their own little community. So it is harder when it's a real place and it's much larger than the Hallmark vibe that we're kind of used to. So
I liked the businesses, like, you know, she talked about like the tattoo parlor where the guy that had
I love layers.
That. Yeah, I like those were cute. And of course, Olivia's, you know, the rival bake store. I mean, so those were very cute. I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite. So maybe I'm just not an Arizona and that's not true either. The Sophie Kimball series is set in Arizona, and I love it. So
yes, but where in Arizona? I mean, I have no point of reference when it comes to Arizona. It's just what I see on TV. I live in Massachusetts. I lived in DC. I don't know what's going on out in the desert.
Yeah.
And someone was asking, where did the question go? So I'm holding up her two books, but somebody wanted to know if there was a third. So they wanted, yes. So we have one question of, is A Nutcracker Nightmare out? And then, will there be another one in the series?
So I am working on book 3. My current publisher, Crooked Lane Books, has not yet offered a contract for that book. They are waiting to see how sales go for A Nutcracker Nightmare. If they do not offer me a contract, that does not mean it's necessarily the end of the season the series, because there are some publishers out there who will continue a series, and I will then, obviously, if Crooked Lane does not pick it up, will see if I can sell it to one of those publishers. So
I want your series to continue. I love the Christmas vibes, and I'm like, I want to stay in your little small cozy town. I'm like, you also, again, I've read a lot of cozy mysteries, but I'm trying to remember if there are other twins in cozy mystery series. For some reason, the twins is very,
Yes.
it's different. It's unique.
Yes.
And they're really cute too. They're adorable. Her sleuthers are fun.
And I don't know about identical twins, but I know that there are some fraternal twins in, is it the ice cream one? There's an ice cream. The first book is like it's something about ice cream, and I can't think of the author's name. I have it upstairs, and they're fraternal twins. But I have not ever heard of identical twins, and I cannot honestly lay claim to that idea. That was my editor's idea at Crooked Lane. She said when I submitted the original manuscript, they were friends, best friends, but they were not twin sisters. And she said, yes, please, but can you please make them twin sisters, identical twin sisters? So
you're like, and 2 books later, you're happy that you did that. Hopefully.
That was an awesome idea. And yeah, so grateful to her for making that suggestion. So
I was looking up
yes, Murray Allen's ice cream series.
I've
yeah.
I mean, I tried so hard to organize the bookcase, and then it got away from me.
My books are all over the house. Like literally, there's some in almost every room. So it's a just massive undertaking to even try and remember which section or which bookcase or room they're in. So
at some point, someday there will be a library tour. I was trying so hard to have the Kensington books on one side, the Poison Pen and Crooked Lane books on another, all the Crooked Lane books, your books were with the other Crooked Lane books over here. And then somewhere along the way, things got very murky. So these books, there was a vision, but the vision evolved or did not.
Well, and is there not do not some people organize by color and
yeah. There are other bookcases here that are color coded. Oh yeah, but these are just cozy mysteries. These are just all cozies. So we have the one that's color coded has the young adult, middle-aged, and some fantasy books over there. And then there are the romance ones. There are multiple bookcases over here. But these are just the cozy ones. This is why they have the cozy colors and fall vibes, because it's cozy. You need the cozy. So anywho, that was a little tangent digression. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the bookshelves. Someday there shall be a tour. It's been on the list. But also, there's something like 15 bookcases here. It's going to be a very long tour or multiple videos. So that'll be a whole series at some point. Oh, okay. So Abby Collette has
Abby Collette.
Yes,
that is who I was referring to. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to go double check on that now. Another for the TBR. Which reminds me, speaking of the TBR, okay, let me go pull it up because part of tonight with the big reveal, it's going to be the remaining 2024 titles. I've revealed the first set. So as of tonight, we have had all of our live stream discussions for 2023. So I've been slowly revealing the 2024 titles. So where are you, little thumbnail image? Okay, why is it going to show? Oh, where do you go? She saw me having trouble with this earlier because I was trying to show her image. I made 2 really cute little images for her, and I kept getting the old one of her that I made forever ago. But here's a little image of Christina. So here's her Instagram handle and her cute profile photo. Oh, why do you not want to show? Okay. You silly little overlay. It's going to have to show the first one with a little check mark because apparently it will show the remaining 12, but not. Okay. I'm going to show y'all. Here it is. It's going to have a check mark over the top one. So we're going to have Pride, Prejudice, and Poison, Death by Bubble Tea, Murder in an Irish Village, 6 Feet Deep Dish, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, Murder at the Lakeside Library, Death in Castle Dark, Dead and Gondola, and the 4 titles that have yet to be revealed, Homicide in hardcover by Kate Carlisle, Steeped, which I think is a great title, Steeped to Death by, I say Gretchen Rue. and now that we're talking about last names, I say Rue. If she pronounces it differently, I apologize. And then Up to No Gouda by Linda Riley, and then The Christmas Murder Game. So the remaining 4 titles have finally been revealed. The complete 2024. I have the entire TBR there for you, and I will actually, so one of the reasons why I was slowly revealing the titles is because I wanted to have all of the YouTube links ready to go so you can add the little bells, however you remember how you want to do the YouTube live streams. They are there. They are on the YouTube channel. And I also created a Goodreads kind of complete list of all of the 12 books. So the Goodreads list is right there. I just sent the link, and I also have them on the website. So if you go to the Cozy Mystery Book Club website, if you click on the link for books, they're all right there with the book blurbs, with the book covers, hyperlinked to Goodreads. I'm very proud of myself. It took me a long time, but there's a reason why I was doing the slow reveal, because there was a lot going on behind the scenes. But that is the complete 2024 TBR. I really hope you guys like it.
All right. That was awesome. Now, the giveaway.
Yes.
How do we want to do the giveaway?
So you guys are going to learn how I do this process. And if you are a tree lover, I sincerely apologize, because you're about to learn that I go through a lot of paper. I actually will handwrite everyone's name down all of the time. So like every time you've commented, you have your username. I usually write them all down, and then I will randomly put them in a bowl and randomly select. But if you would have a different way that you'd like to select this to make sure that it's a USA winner, I am open to your suggestions.
Okay, well, if it's not a USA winner, they will get an EPUB file. So if you're not from mainland USA, you get an EPUB file, which is basically what you put on your Kindle. But if you are mainland USA, then you get the hardcover mailed to you. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm seeing all the comments pop up. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what's going to happen is all of your comments, I will do it again, because I actually, tomorrow I kind of was giving myself a little bit of time because I've been working on 12 Days of Cozies. So I was going to be working on 12 Days of Cozies again. So tomorrow is my buffer day. I will get all of your giveaway entries here from tonight ready to go so I can select a winner and send it to Christina. So you'll be all set. I can do that. I can make that happen.
As soon as you find out you're the winner, you get your address to me. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and DM me. I've got a website. You can go through that to contact me. So there's all kinds of ways to contact me, and get me that address so that I can send it out this Friday for you.
Oh my goys, I'm seeing you guys are so cute. So again, if you have any other comments to enter for the giveaway, comment now. But I'm so glad you guys like the lineup. That makes me so happy. Yes, it is a lot of writing. I actually have a wrist brace that I put on because I get in the zone because I know once I'm writing down the username, that's what I'm doing. Because I also want to make sure that I completely write them down. So again, if my hand gets tired and I can't read my own handwriting, then there's a problem, hence the wrist brace. But I have a system. It works. Because I want to make sure I'm fair too. I always want to make sure that everyone's included. The randomized selection, like you guys know, I'm very transparent. I tell you guys what's going on, but that's how I randomly select the winner, because I don't want to just scroll and randomly stop, because I feel like somehow the computer will make that wrong somehow. Oh, yes. So if you guys have any more questions, or you have questions for Christina about the books and stuff, please ask them now. So other people have been mentioning, so when it comes to Pride, Prejudice, and Poison, apparently there are only a few copies of this book available right now on Amazon. I think they're supposed to get another shipment or something. But again, this is actually one of the reasons why I like revealing all of the TBR titles well in advance, because so we celebrated the 5-year anniversary. The idea for the book club came in 2017. The very first live stream was January 2018. So after doing the book club for so long, people were saying they got it from their library. They had to do, the interlibrary loan. They had to have their library special order it. Other times they could get it on OneDrive or other things, or there was a wait list. So hopefully things have been announced well enough in advance that you can potentially contact your library. Maybe you could add this to your Christmas wish list and someone will be your secret Santa and send it your way. So hopefully there's enough wiggle room where you can get your copy. I just bought mine on Amazon. It was very, direct, simple. But what I can do is I can find all of the links to the book where you can buy it or access it, and I'll share them on the Twitter, Instagram. So I'll give you some of the options. But yeah, I did hear that the paperback copy was a little bit tricky to get for some people. So if you are someone who likes the paperback copies, now would be the time to try and get this to add to your library.
Bookshop.org, also indie bookshops, and you can look for it there as well. So that's also a great place to look for books.
Colleen, she's got the Hoopla reference. Somebody, okay, I forget the username off the top of my head, and as soon as we say goodnight for the evening, I'm gonna totally remember who it was. But someone said that Colleen introduced them to Hoopla. So if you have not checked out Hoopla yet, please do. Colleen, shout out Hoopla. You introduced it to someone, and they were so pleased and happy that you did. So Hoopla, I'm glad that it's there too, and you're telling us that. Okay, so yeah, I know that it is available. It's just a matter of wanting the print copy, where it could be a little tricky with the number that's available. So that was also why this is the copy for December, for January, because if you might remember, it was almost Crepes of Wrath by Sarah Fox, but they are no longer publishing it in paperback. And this book was the second place winner by less than a single percentage. So now we're going to do a buddy read for Crepes of Wrath, which I will have more information on at a later date. I'm working on that for you. But because you want to make sure that they have the paperback available, we got this. So things are happening. Okay, you guys are, I'm missing some of the comments, but I'm hoping you guys are saying nice things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? I went to my secondhand bookstore my favorite nearby, and that's where I managed to find this. I went in and it was like right there on the shelf, and I picked that up and said, thank you very much. So
oh, I'm glad. I want things to be easy. Again, this is why I try so hard to make sure that I give you guys the information as simple, straightforward as I can. So hopefully you guys are able to find the book and everything else. Okay, so hey Mick, I know Mick. I know I don't know if I'm allowed to be like, oh, you're a sweetie, you're so made me very happy one time with a message where I was like happy crying because it was very, very sweet. I actually don't even think I replied to the email. I was just like, this is the best message I've ever received. So I still need to reply to Mick, but special shout out, hello. Sorry, total tangent moment. Yes, so when it comes to the book club, I want to make sure that it's available in all of the formats, because we've learned that everyone has their own sort of go-to when it comes to paperback, ebook, or audio. But also, I've received messages where I know that we have hearing impaired, so they have to physically read, but we also have visually impaired, so they can only listen to it on audio. So again, I want to make it accessible to everybody. So that's why it has to be available in all of the formats. So that's why Crepes of Wrath, unfortunately, is now a buddy read and optional. So I'm not totally disappointed, though. I mean, yes, I'm going to read Crepes of Wrath, and we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be awesome. But you guys know I love Jane Austen. So Pride, Prejudice, and Poison was on my list. I'm very excited to chat about it with y'all in January 2024.
I'm pretty sure I have that actually upstairs in my extensive to be read pile.
Just the baby one, just a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I know this is your very first time guest hosting, and you are so sweet and amazing. I sent her a copy of the image I wanted to show y'all, but I have the original image of this amazing woman in the very first book in her series. So here is Christina's Twitter handle. She's so sweet. If you've not already checked out her social media platforms, please do. She's on Instagram. She posts such sweet content and cozy content. So if you are interested in checking out her accounts, I highly recommend it. And I need to go make sure I'm still on her email newsletter family, because I just need to be on her, need to be part of that family. And she also has the giveaway. So somebody is going to be a very happy little Christmas reading sleuther very soon. So I'll do the giveaway tomorrow. So I'll have hopefully the results and the information for you. But so this is the final live stream. Now is the time for last minute questions, comments, queries. And yes, 12 Days of Cozies. These were uploaded several days ago. So I have some of the little notations. So we have a few. There are going to be a number of authors. And I love how all of a sudden Lady Gizmo's comment is popping up for some reason. It's still a great comment. It's very, very sweet. But I'm going to make it so this one's just showing. I don't understand StreamYard. But we have something like 50 plus giveaways, which is insane. We have Vicky Delaney, Nicole Aslin, Wendy Kendall, Elren Burke, Samara Yee, Dana Mentink. I always want to mispronounce that name for some reason. Sydney Lee, SK Golden, Victoria Gilbert, Paula Charles, Nancy Basil, Kelly Brackenoff, Iris March, Sybil Johnson, Krista Nardi, Alexa Gordon, Catherine Bruns, Liz Ireland, Leah Dobrensky, Jennifer J. Chow, Bethany Browning. So there are so many authors who are taking part in 12 Days of Cozies. Again, they're going to giveaways across platforms. So there's going to be there's literally going to be my personal Instagram, and then there's going to be the Cozy Mystery Instagram. So mine, Kensington, is absolutely incredible. They're doing 12 books for the 12 Days of Cozies, and they're all color themed to go with the Instagram challenges. So those ones are going to be on my account, but then the Cozy Mystery authors who are offering giveaways is going to be on the Cozy Mystery Instagram account. So 2 separate Instagram giveaways are happening, plus the email newsletter. So if you open the email newsletter, you're instantly in the giveaway mix for that. And then there's the Twitter giveaway, plus all the other stuff going on. So the authors meet on Twitter from 8 to 9 p.m. EST, Twitter reading sprints from 5 to 8 p.m. EST. Obviously, there's the Instagram photo challenges. I have all of the information over on you have to have the cozymysterybookclub.com, but there's a page there for the 2023 12 Days of Cozies, and I have all the information there. Also, 12 days of different guest blog posts from authors and book club members. So all very, very exciting stuff. So yes, even though tonight is the last live stream, there's still more coziness coming your way.
Yeah, you are amazing. I don't know how you do it all. It is, the most intricate and organized, and it blows me away. All the extra goodies you give away in your newsletters. So if you haven't signed up for Angela's newsletters, you've got to sign up. You get so much stuff in those newsletters. It's like getting a magazine. It is seriously that good. So you must sign up.
Well, I have to say, I don't even know so there's probably a term, but I worked with a graphic designer, and I had them do a couple images for me. So it's like you connect the numbers to reveal the image, and the end reveal is so amazing. It came out so great. And so I'm really excited to actually share what I've been working on with y'all. I am so excited to be sending those extras. And those are just gonna be in the email newsletter too. Plus they're gonna be fun little giveaways, just of random little stickers too, because our cozy companions need to be turned into Christmas companions. So I appreciate you saying that though. The amount of time and energy I spend on that newsletter, I really do try and put all the information y'all could possibly need in there. So it's nice to know that you enjoy it, because I really do try really, really hard to make it nice and visually appealing. So it's nice to know that you feel that way.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just make me tired. One newsletter, I just can't imagine how you do that every month, plus all the other stuff you do. So yeah, I wonder when you sleep. I really do.
Well, I have insomnia, so that's also part of it too, probably. But my inner perfectionist is also very real. So I'm very appreciative that you say such nice things, because I do try and make it. I know it's very long because it has all the details of what's coming up in the month, but I try and make it as fun and as engaging. And I always put the extras at the end as like a reward for getting to the end. Yes. And so this is also, some people didn't realize this either. So there's actually a library on my personal website of all the extras. So we're talking about pages and pages of extras that you click on through the email newsletter, and every so often someone will randomly realize that exists, and I'll get a message going, how did you do this? How long has this been there? Because at this point I also have all the emails archived over there too. So the internet, there's a lot going on when it comes to the newsletter.
Yes, I have found my way to those resources and have printed off the bingos and the games and the bookmarks. It is an amazing resource. So worth it.
Well, it was so funny because I think one girl, it was like an entire paragraph of, I saw the freebie extra page, but I didn't know there was an even more freebies page for just an email newsletter. It wasn't until because apparently for Google or Gmail, it will cut off after a certain point. So you have to hit load more or make sure that you're seeing the entire email. So apparently for her, like the first 2 or 3 months, she didn't know that there was more attached. That was when she saw the attachment for like the even more library. So if you haven't figured it out yet, go check it out. I worked really hard on it, so go enjoy, have fun. There's also lots of Murder, She Wrote references. But yes, so for December, we also have the buddy read. So yes, thank you for being excited, Lady Gizmo, and obviously shouting out to Christina for joining tonight. So we have, where is it? There we go. This is the December buddy read, and hopefully we talked about that before, but if you guys have any other questions, now is the time to ask them. So you said you have the 3rd book that you're working on. You have your Instagram, your Twitter, your newsletter. Anywhere else they should be looking for you? Is there any notifications that they should be aware of?
So I am on Facebook. So you can find me there as well. Instagram is my most favorite place to be. And so that does tend to be where I put a lot of my content, but Facebook also. Twitter, I am not on as much. I do try and go on occasionally, but I'm not on there as much. And then, yeah, I've got, like I said, the website and the newsletter. So yeah.
And I'm going to just put it up again to make sure you guys have it. So this is Christina. We've been singing the name all night, and A Christmas Candy Killing is the buddy read. So please add that to your TBR if you haven't already. And so hopefully you'll be reading it during the Twitter reading sprints or during the Instagram challenges or whatever it is. You're able to join the 12 Days of Cozy's fun and enjoy a little bit of the Christmas Candy Killing and the Christina love. So,
and something I always tell people, if you request my book from your library, if your library does not have it and you request it and you message me, I will send you some stickers and bookmarks to thank you.
You're so sweet. Oh my goodness. So obviously we all have to follow her across platforms, and shouting out for Christina taking the time out of her day to chat about coziness and joining us tonight. And I'm so happy that you enjoyed your first official, guest hosting book. The fact that it was sprinkled with murder and you enjoyed it makes me so happy.
This has been awesome. I am so grateful for being here. Thank you so much I've known about this, I think, for the whole year, really.
Probably.
This was just awesome, and I've just had so much fun. So I thank you.
You were so sweet. I was so again, like we had only messaged, and you kind of know people when you see their reels or stories and stuff, but we hadn't talked one-on-one until Malice. And then again, we got along so well, and she's so sweet. It was so easy to chat with her. I had that moment like after our interview where I'm going, I'm gonna have a great time with her come November. And like this is back in like April or May. I'm like, oh, come November, we're gonna have a great time. But like I was already looking forward to it.
It feels like yesterday. I can't believe this is the last live stream of the year. Like seriously.
It is mind blowing. It's I've been working on 12 Days of Cozy's for such a long time, and to know it's actually coming up and happening, and I'm looking at the calendar and I'm going, oh my goodness, it's real. It's the time. Where is this month gone? Oh my goodness. So the countdown is on. The countdown to Christmas is on. So all of the things, and then January 1st is my birthday, so I'm like, all of the things are happening in the coming weeks.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I know, right? Like kicking off the new year, new age, it's gonna, whole thing. But I know January, so we're also gonna be kicking it off with I'm a Jane Austen girl. I mean, I love Jane Austen, so we have another Pride and Prejudice inspired cozy for January, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, hopefully. But thank you guys for joining tonight. I'm so glad. It seemed like y'all really enjoyed the book, and we definitely been chatting for a very long time now. But you guys are so sweet. And if you have any other questions about 12 Days of Cozy's, there's the website. You can email me. I believe the Q&A is still live, so you can type another question in there and I will answer you. So please let me know if there's something going on you have questions about, and I'm going to get to work on that newsletter. So December 1st, it's ready to go in your inbox, kicking off your 12 Days of Cozy's fun. So more coziness is coming your way very soon. And another shout out and thank you to Christina. Again, if you're not following her across platforms, please check her out because she is so sweet and so awesome. And my goal, I'm going to tell you guys one of my goals, and I'm going to turn it into a reality. So it's not just a dream, it's a reality. My interview with her is going to drop on YouTube in the Chatting Cozies podcast. So that is going to happen during 12 Days of Cozies because we have our buddy read with her Christmas cozy fun in there. But she needs a shout out too for doing the buddy read and chatting with me. So that interview is coming your way. So be on the lookout for that too. But thank you for joining us tonight. Please stay safe, kind, healthy, and I hope you enjoy your next cozy mystery read, everyone. Have a nice night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.